state that only confirms her fear that she's losing control of her feelings. So, she retreats further, testing if you'll stay centered or spiral into insecurity. In this video, I'm going to break down the real psychology behind why a woman pushes you away when she actually wants you most. You'll understand what's really happening in her mind and how to respond in a way that keeps her attraction alive without chasing, begging, or over-explaining. Because once you understand this dynamic, you'll stop taking her distance personally. You'll start recognizing her pullbacks for what they are, moments of emotional overwhelm, not rejection. And instead of reacting from confusion or panic, you'll know how to stay calm, grounded, and even more attractive in her eyes. So, if you've ever had a woman act hot and cold, disappear right when things felt perfect, or suddenly go silent after showing deep interest, this one's for you. Let's dive in. Let's dive. 1. Her feelings scare her more than she'll ever admit. Her feelings scare her more than she'll ever admit. Here's the truth most men never realize. When a woman starts to genuinely care about you, it terrifies her. You might think she's falling, softening, getting closer. But inside, she's panicking. Because when feelings start to grow, so does the fear of losing control. And that fear can make her act in ways that confuse the hell out of you. One day she's warm, affectionate, open. The next she's distant, quiet, or even cold. It's not because she stopped liking you. It's because she started liking you too much. See, for a lot of women, deep attraction doesn't feel safe. It feels vulnerable. It exposes parts of her she spent years protecting. Maybe she's been hurt before. Maybe she's learned that the moment she lets her guard down, people disappear. So now, when those same emotions start rising again, her instinct isn't to lean in, it's to protect herself. To step back before she gets attached to something she can't control. Imagine this. You've been talking to a woman for weeks. Things are flowing naturally. She laughs at your jokes. She texts first sometimes, and she starts opening up. Then just when you think it's deepening, she suddenly goes quiet. She takes longer to reply. She cancels plans or says she needs space. Most men instantly assume she's lost interest. But from a woman's perspective, that pullback is often her defense mechanism. It's her trying to calm her emotions down before they take over. Because once a woman feels emotionally invested, she no longer feels like she has power. And whether she admits it or not, women like to feel emotionally safe, not emotionally exposed. When a woman starts caring deeply, her mind begins spinning with questions. What if he's not who I think he is? What if he leaves? What if I'm the only one catching feelings? So, she distances herself. Not because she's done, but because she's scared of how much you affect her. That's the paradox. The closer you get to her heart, the stronger her instinct becomes to protect it. And the more genuine you are, the more unpredictable her emotions can become. It's not logical, it's emotional survival. 2. The fear of losing power. The fear of losing power in the dynamic. Here's what most men don't understand. Attraction isn't just about how a woman feels about you. It's also about how much power she feels she has around you. When a woman starts to like a man deeply, she can start to feel like she's losing that power. And that's where the push and pull begins. See, at first, when a woman meets a man she's drawn to, she feels excitement. But she also feels control. She gets to decide how much she opens up, when she replies, how much she shows interest. But when her feelings grow stronger, something shifts. She starts to realize that you now have emotional influence over her, and that loss of control, even if she doesn't admit it, makes her uncomfortable. It's not that she wants to play games, it's that emotionally she doesn't want to feel powerless. Every woman has an inner balance she tries to maintain between emotional desire and emotional security. When she feels like her desire for you is growing faster than your desire for her, her instinct is to pull back to restore balance. It's like her subconscious saying, hold on. I need to make sure I'm not the only one falling here. This is why women sometimes act distant right after being affectionate. It's their way of emotionally regrounding themselves. This dynamic gets even stronger if she's been hurt before. If she's had a history where caring too much led to disappointment, her emotional reflex becomes, don't let it happen again. So, when she senses that familiar intensity with you, she might unconsciously sabotage the connection. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much and is afraid of being on the weaker side of things. And here's the real twist. The more emotionally mature and stable you are, the more this dynamic plays out early on. Because when a woman meets a man who doesn't chase, who stays centered, who doesn't react to her pullback with panic, she feels that power shift even more. It unsettles her because she realizes you don't need her validation the way most men do. That's both deeply attractive and deeply intimidating. It makes her question whether she has as much control in the connection as she thought. So, when she pushes you away, sometimes it's not about you doing something wrong. It's about her trying to feel emotionally safe again. She's trying to reset the balance. If you react with neediness, pressure, or confusion, you confirm her fear that she's lost control. But if you respond with calm, detachment, if you simply continue being your grounded self, she slowly starts to realize that she doesn't need to have all the control to feel safe. Because what actually makes her feel safe isn't dominance, it's trust. 3. Her mind. Her mind versus her emotions. The war inside her versus her emotions. The war inside her. This is where most men completely misread what's going on. When a woman pushes you away even though she clearly wants you, it's usually because she's trapped in an internal war between her mind and her emotions. And I'll be honest, her mind doesn't always win. See, her emotions are what make her drawn to you. They make her think about you constantly, replay your words, feel that magnetic pull that she can't quite explain. But her mind is the part that tries to protect her. It's logical, cautious, and influenced by her past experiences and fears. So, while her emotions might be saying, I really like him, her mind is screaming, don't you dare get attached. You know how this ends. This emotional tug-of-war can make her behavior look confusing. One moment, she's affectionate, warm, and deeply connected. The next, she's cold, distant, and acting like she doesn't care. But here's the truth, when you see that switch, it's not indifference, it's defense. It's her trying to take back control of a situation that's starting to feel too emotionally risky. And that's what a lot of men take personally when it's not even about them. A woman might pull back not because you did something wrong, but because she's fighting with herself about how much she actually feels for you. The more she wants you, the more dangerous it feels. Because to her, wanting someone deeply means giving them the power to hurt her deeply. That's why you'll sometimes hear women say, I just need space, or I'm confused right now. What she really means is, my emotions are getting ahead of me, and I need my logic to catch up. It's her way of slowing things down so she doesn't lose control or fall into something that feels too vulnerable too soon. Now, here's where you need to be smart. When she's in this space, you can't try to argue her emotions back into place. You can't convince her with words, promises, or validation. Because the more you try to prove your intentions, the more her mind interprets it as pressure. It makes her feel like she's being pulled faster into something she's already scared of. And that fear only makes her withdraw more. 4. When she pushes you, she's actually testing you, pushes you. She's actually testing you. Now, this might sound harsh, but every woman tests the man she's drawn to. And one of the biggest tests she'll ever put you through is when she pushes you away. Not because she wants you gone, but because she wants to see what you'll do when she does. Here's the part that most men never understand. Women don't consciously plan these tests. It's not manipulation. It's instinct. It's how she measures your emotional strength and confidence without you even realizing it. See, when she pulls away, what she's really observing is your reaction. Do you chase her immediately? Do you start overexting, asking what's wrong or trying to fix things? Or do you stay calm, unbothered, steady, and in control of yourself? Because in her mind, the man who chases her confusion is emotionally reactive, but the man who stays centered when she withdraws is emotionally secure. And that's what every woman wants. A man she feels emotionally safe around. When she pulls away, it's like she's subconsciously saying, can I trust this man to stay grounded when things get uncertain? Because deep down, every woman knows that attraction isn't built on comfort. It's built on emotional polarity, and that polarity only exists when the man can handle her emotions without losing control of his own. Here's the real secret. When she pushes you away, she's not hoping you'll chase her. She's hoping you'll hold your ground. She's hoping you'll stay calm enough to show her through your actions, not your words, that you're not dependent on her for emotional validation. That's why when a man starts to panic or beg for clarity, she instantly feels turned off. Not because she's cruel, but because that reaction confirms her deepest fear that you're not as stable as she thought. On the other hand, when you let her have her space without resentment or neediness, you communicate quiet confidence. That's what draws her right back. You need to understand something. When a woman has strong feelings for you, she's constantly looking for proof that her emotions are safe with you. If you fail that test, if you let her distance trigger your insecurity, she'll emotionally retreat even further. But if you stay calm, live your life, and let her energy return naturally, she'll start to see you differently. 5. The pullback is her fear of losing control. Pullback is her fear of losing control. Here's the truth that most men never realize. When a woman suddenly starts pulling back, acting distant, or even pushing you away, it's not always because she's lost interest. Sometimes it's because she's too interested, and that terrifies her. See, attraction is easy for women, but emotional connection is not. The moment she starts feeling deeply for you, she also starts losing a sense of control. And for a woman who's used to protecting herself, that loss of control feels dangerous. It makes her feel exposed, vulnerable, and emotionally dependent on something she can't predict. Let me paint a familiar scene. Everything between you feels good. She's warm, affectionate, laughing with you, opening up more than usual. You think things are finally getting serious. And then out of nowhere, she starts acting cold. She stops initiating texts. She takes longer to reply. She suddenly seems busy all the time. You're left confused, wondering what went wrong. But here's what's really happening. Her emotions hit a level that made her uncomfortable, and she needed to retreat to regain emotional balance. This is where most men sabotage everything by reacting instead of understanding. They start chasing, questioning, demanding answers. They try to fix what doesn't need fixing. But the more you push for clarity, the more she shuts down, because what she needs in that moment isn't more words. It's space to feel safe again. Women fear emotional loss more than rejection. When she starts feeling too attached, she's afraid of what might happen if she loses you. So, she creates distance first, just to protect herself. It's an emotional defense mechanism. That's why she'll tell herself things like, maybe I'm moving too fast, or I should focus on myself. She's not lying. She's trying to convince herself to pull back from a feeling that's starting to consume her. Here's what separates confident men from the rest. Instead of reacting to her distance, they understand it. They don't take her space as rejection. They take it as part of her emotional rhythm. They give her the time she needs, but they don't disappear either. They stay consistent, calm, and grounded, showing her that she can feel something real without it becoming chaos. And eventually, something powerful happens. She starts to miss the calm energy she feels around you. She realizes you didn't panic when she pulled away. You didn't guilt her or chase her. You simply stayed steady, and that's when she begins to trust you again. Not just because she likes you, but because your emotional balance proves that being close to you is safe. 6. Her silence. Her silence doesn't mean she's over you. It doesn't mean she's over you. When a woman goes silent, most men assume the worst. That she's done, that she's moved on, that she doesn't care anymore. But silence doesn't always mean indifference. Often, it's emotional noise on her end. She's processing, overthinking, and trying to calm the chaos inside her. Here's the thing. Women feel everything more deeply than they show. When she pulls away and stops talking, it's rarely because she stopped caring. It's usually because she cares too much and doesn't know how to handle it. That silence is her emotional self-defense. It's how she regains control when her feelings start to feel overwhelming. Men make one of two mistakes here. Either they panic and chase, texting, calling, trying to force conversation, or they retaliate by going completely cold themselves, thinking that'll teach her a lesson. But both reactions stem from emotion, not understanding. The chase makes her feel pressured. The cold shoulder makes her feel unsafe. Neither builds trust. What she really needs during that silence is emotional steadiness. A man who can give her space without disappearing emotionally. Someone who doesn't need to force reassurance because his energy already communicates it. When you remain calm and grounded, not chasing, not punishing, just present, it gives her something she didn't even realize she was craving. Peace. You have to understand women retreat inward when their emotions start conflicting. She might like you, but she's afraid of where it's going. She might want you, but she's scared of getting hurt. Her silence is her way of creating space between those two realities. She's not plotting, she's protecting. The real power move here isn't reacting to her silence. It's understanding the psychology behind it. You can't pull a woman closer by demanding clarity. You can only do it by being someone she feels safe returning to. That means your energy stays consistent. You don't start posting things online to make her jealous. You don't send guilt-tripping texts. You don't act like she's irrelevant, because when you do, You confirm her fears that being vulnerable with you means pain or pressure. But when you stay steady, when your silence isn't angry but peaceful, it disrupts the pattern she's used to. Most men react emotionally. Few men remain calm. That calmness makes you stand out. It quietly reminds her that she can come back to you without shame, without tension. 7. The right way to respond. When she pushes you away. Respond when she pushes you away. This is where most men either make it or break it. How you handle a woman's pullback can completely change how she sees you. Either as another emotionally reactive guy she can't trust with her heart, or as the kind of man who knows how to handle feminine emotion with strength and maturity. Let's be real. When a woman you care about starts pushing you away, it stings. You start questioning yourself. You wonder what you did wrong or if she's losing interest. That's a natural reaction. But what separates strong men from the rest is how they respond, not react. When she becomes distant, your instinct might be to chase, to text her more, call her, ask what's wrong, or remind her how much you care. But all that does is validate her fear that she's lost emotional control. Remember, when a woman feels overwhelmed by her own feelings, she pushes you away to create emotional balance. So if you chase her while she's trying to find that balance, you actually make her retreat further. Instead, do the opposite of what most men do. Stay calm. Don't match her withdrawal with coldness or anger. That just turns it into a power struggle. Instead, match her space with self-respect. Give her the room she's asking for, but don't disappear. A short, grounded message like, "Take your time, I'm here," carries far more weight than a dozen anxious texts. It shows you're emotionally secure, and that's rare. This is the part most men overlook. Women are drawn to men who can handle their emotional storms without losing their own center. When she sees that you don't take her pullback personally, she starts to feel safe again. Your calmness becomes her emotional anchor. That's when she starts missing you. Not because you manipulated her, but because your steadiness reminds her of what she actually wants. A man she can trust emotionally. But here's some constructive truth. Many men let their pride ruin these moments. They think giving space means walking away completely. They ghost her back, or they start posting things to make her jealous. That's not strength. That's insecurity dressed as ego. Real strength is being able to stay centered and compassionate even when she's distant. You're not chasing, but you're not punishing either. If she's meant for you, she'll come back once her emotions settle. And when she does, the way you carried yourself during that silence will determine everything. If you were patient, calm, and confident, she'll see you differently. You'll stand out from every man who tried to win her with pressure or panic. Conclusion. Her loss becomes your power. When a woman pushes you away, even though she still wants you, what she's really doing is testing something she doesn't fully understand. She's trying to protect her heart, her ego, and her emotions all at once. But here's what most men don't realize. The way you handle that moment determines how she'll see you for a long time. If you chase her, if you beg, explain, or try to convince her, she loses respect. Not because she's cruel, but because emotionally she reads your chase as weakness. But when you don't chase, when you stay calm, grounded, and let her feel the weight of your absence, something changes in her. The confusion she tried to avoid suddenly becomes curiosity. The distance she created starts to feel cold, and that emotional shield she used to push you away, it starts to crack. You see, the irony is this. Women often push away the very man they're most drawn to because that's where the risk is. That's where they feel vulnerable, and most women, especially in today's dating world, don't know how to sit in that vulnerability. So, they push. They act detached. They make you question yourself. But a strong man doesn't flinch. He doesn't argue. He doesn't chase clarity. He just stays in control of himself. And that's the kind of man a woman can't forget. The one who didn't fall apart when she did. The one who let her feel the silence. The one who taught her that losing him wasn't freedom. It was regret. So remember this. When she pulls away, don't panic. Don't chase. Just hold your ground. Because the man who can stay calm when a woman runs is the man she eventually runs back to. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a woman push you away right when things felt real? What did you do? Drop your experience in the comments. I'll be reading and responding because this right here is where men finally start to understand how women really think. Shirwa.